Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX. I'm Devika Chopra. Now, Rahul Gandhi, while breaking his silence on Digvijaya Singh, has distanced himself from the comments on the surgical strike and has claimed that the Congress party completely trusts the armed forces. He has made it clear now that the army does not need to provide any proof for any military action that they take. This is, of course, a huge U-turn since only 11 months ago, both him and KCR wanted the army to provide proof on the surgical strikes. Also, why is it that when it comes to China, Rahul Gandhi does not toe this line with statements like India is not ready for China and that China is beating up our Jawans? Is this statement from Rahul Gandhi welcome, or does it expose that the Congress party is in fact confused? Let's quickly listen in to how the Congress has messed it up this time around.
सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक की बात करते हैं कि हमने इतने लोग मार गिराए, लेकिन प्रमाण कुछ नहीं, केवल झूठ का पुलिंदा से ये राज कर रहे हैं। मैं आपसे कहना चाहता हूं, ये देश सबका है।
मैं तो श्री राहुल गांधी जी से ये जवाब मांगता हूं कि ये कैसी भारत जोड़ो यात्रा है। टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग आपके साथ चल रही है, सेना का मनोबल गिराया जा रहा है और राहुल गांधी भी सवाल उठा रहे हैं कि सेना कमजोर होगी। ये देशभक्ति नहीं है। कभी दिग्विजय सिंह के राज में सिमी का गढ़ था, ये मध्य प्रदेश। सेना का मनोबल गिराने का पाप और अपराध तो कम से कम कांग्रेस ना करे।
जो दिग्विजय सिंह जी ने कहा उससे मैं बिल्कुल अग्री नहीं करता हूं। हमारी आर्मी पर हमारा पूरा ट्रस्ट है। अगर आर्मी कुछ करे, सबूत देने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है। तो मैं पर्सनली उनके स्टेटमेंट से कंप्लीटली डिसएग्री करता हूं और कांग्रेस पार्टी की ऑफिशियल पोजीशन भी यही है कि वो दिग्विजय जी का पर्सनल ओपिनियन है, वो हमारा ओपिनियन नहीं है।
Okay, so there you heard it. With me on the broadcast is Ikram Sandhu of the Congress, also Major General Gigi Dwivedi with us as well is Sumit Peer, Syed Abbas and Joyita Basu, editor of the Sunday Guardian. Let me begin this conversation with Ikram Sandhu. Ikram Sandhu, I do feel a little bad for you right now because you're going to have to explain a lot of what has happened. Now, Digvijaya Singh's statement demanding proof of the surgical strikes came out yesterday morning. In the evening, we held a debate on the same, and your party sent a spokesperson who was actually defending Digvijaya Singh. Then, in the middle of that debate comes Jairam Ramesh's tweet many hours later saying that this is a personal statement of Digvijaya Singh and the party does not back it. Today, Rahul Gandhi has come out and made what a lot of the opposition, the BJP, is calling a significant U-turn, because Rahul Gandhi was also one of the leaders who did question the surgical strike and kept demanding for proof. My simple question to you, Ikram Sandhu, is that if you want to, of course, now support the army, and that's great to know, why did it take the Congress party so long to put out a statement against Digvijaya Singh's comments? Why didn't the party immediately hold a press conference or put out a tweet from their handle? Or why couldn't Rahul Gandhi come immediately and say that no, this is not the position of the party, because Digvijaya Singh was a part of the Bharat Jodo Yatra. It's not like he was at some separate event or someone just randomly was interviewing him and he ended up making that statement. He was part of the Yatra.
Good evening, Devika, and just give me the courtesy of a few minutes to answer your question. Now, when we talk about questioning, we are not questioning the army. Nobody in Congress questions the army. Of course, we question this present government. And we have been doing it since 2014 and especially 2019 as far as the Pulwama attack is concerned. Now, there are three important things which we should not lose sight of. One, how did RDX reach Pulwama? And just because an election happened after that and BJP won that election, it cannot be swept under the carpet. There was an intelligence failure and the government of the day is answerable for that. Number two, couple of years after Pulwama, if you remember, a DSP in J&K police, Mr. Devinder Singh, DSP Devinder Singh, was caught red-handed with terrorists whom he was ferrying from Jammu to Srinagar. Now, this government has dropped all proceedings against that DSP and no action has been taken against it. The government which tom-toms its nationalistic credentials and people are in jail for 2 to 3 years just because a CD or a book is caught at their house. How come this DSP was left off the hook?
So Ikram, Sindhu, I want to just ask you. I know you asked for a couple of minutes. Is your problem with the DSP or is your problem with Pulwama or is your problem with the surgical strikes?
Our problem is not with any surgical strike. As you know, and even Lieutenant General Huda talked about it earlier, the surgical strike even happened before 2014. So it is not that something which just suddenly came up because of the supreme leader taking over.
So now that Digvijaya Singh has made a statement, why are you coming and bringing up the DSP's matter? If that was your issue, then you should have held a press conference on it. Why don't you demand answers from the centre? Digvijaya Singh has made a very clear statement on surgical strike. He said, give me proof. 6 years later, the Congress party and its leaders are still asking for proof of the surgical strike.
Nobody from the Congress. Now, if Mr. Digvijay Singh said something, it could have been lost in translation. It could have been his own thing. Congress is very clear on it.
He said the centre is lying about the surgical strike. What is there to, what translation are we losing here?
You are not getting our point. The surgical strike is a different thing. There is a context in which the surgical strike happened. That context cannot be lost.
Like what context? What context?
The context of what happened in Pulwama. Why was it that RDX reached the most secure highway that you have in India? There was an intelligence report that the CRPF Jawans should not be sent by road. They should be airlifted. Why was that ignored? Because of this 40 people, 40 brave.
So ask those questions, Ikram Sandhu. That's what I'm telling you. No, you're not. You are making it about the surgical strike.
Today, as
you are saying, give us proof of the surgical strike. Why are you asking for proof?
Proof of the surgical strike. One, the citations are read
Your own leader was asking. Rahul Gandhi was asking just a couple of years, until a few years back he was. Yes, today he's perhaps had a change of heart. Ikram Sandhu, I just want to understand, does the Congress party realize that it really does come across as very confused?
No, it does not. Now you tell me something. Who is Sadhvi Pragya?
My question to you was very simple.
Listen to me. Now,
if you wanted to, Ikram Sandhu, sorry. My question to you was very simple. If you wanted...
I am just giving you a context. If you have somebody who goes off the party line, the whole party cannot be held responsible.
No, absolutely not. That's what we're saying. But when you don't come out with a statement immediately, you allow it to become the party line.
Ms. Digvijay said something yesterday morning. It was played ad nauseum throughout the day. Everybody on television who matters in the Congress has said that it is his view, not the Congress's view. And today morning, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has been more than categorical in refuting whatever Mr. Digvijay Singh has said. Has the Prime Minister in the last 3 years even once refuted a loose cannon like Giriraj Singh or Sadhvi Pragya? So hold us to the same standard that you hold the BJP. You cannot have oranges for one party and apple for another party. We in 24 hours clarify that is too long. This government for years has not clarified and it is par for the course. I'm sorry, that's not the way politics should be run anywhere, especially not on news channels.
Digvijaya, do you think it's fair of the Congress to make these sort of confused statements about the surgical strike 6 years after it has happened?
Well, Devika, first and foremost, I think we should all accept that security is a national issue. And it is the onus of every citizen to be involved in national security. Unfortunately, our leaders tend to politicize it and make it onus of one party or the other. They should take collective responsibility about the national security. And this is our lack of culture, strategic culture, and that's why such questions are raised. Second point is that when a leader, senior leader, makes such statement, I think the rebuttal must come then and there. He should be rather pulled down. And these statements come more to make brownie points by these senior leaders I think they should go and visit. If some leader has a doubt, should go to forward area and visit and clarify for himself or herself. I was in Siachen as the battalion commander. I know defense minister came with couple of MPs, and within 5 minutes they wanted to get back. I can tell you these leaders have never visited the forward areas. They may be doing a lot of work in the hinterland, but when they question the security, they must go forward. They must. They are the MPs. They are the position holders. I'm sure they'll get the permission to go forward. And ironically, they tend to bat for those armies which have no credibility. Take for example, Pakistan Army. I fought 71 war, and Pakistan Army till today has not accepted they lost the war. And yet, Yahya Khan, Niazi, and Tika Khan were the leaders. They blame the political dispensation. And mind you, same thing with China. They had Galwan, they had almost 40, 50 casualties, they accepted 4 casualties. So our leaders tend to believe our adversaries, our enemies, who have no credibility whatsoever. And third point I like to make it, that we don't take cognizance of such statement. In the army, we don't take cognizance of irresponsible statement. Doesn't affect our morale whatsoever. We have a duty to do. We defend our country at all cost, at the cost of our lives, and we don't care what statement the politician made. We just brush them aside. Devika.
Right, absolutely. Let me bring in Joyita Basu into the conversation. Joyita, do you think it was enough that the Congress hours later held a press conference and said that Digvijaya Singh's statements are personal and that we back the army wholeheartedly? Or was this an opportunity for them to actually do a lot more if they really want to now, after years since the surgical strikes or the Pulwama attack, if they truly want to now show that yes, we do wholeheartedly support the army, then they should have immediately held a press conference or issued a statement or at least spoken at length about the issue.
Yes, Devika, you're absolutely right when you say that the Congress has done too little, too late. Now, when you are looking at the Congress, you see the problem that the Congress needs to realize that there's something called perception. And in perception, considering, you see, by distancing themselves from Digvijaya Singh is not going to help. Especially, if, I would say, in 2024, the elections are going to come up by next year. So, you see, when it comes to perception, there is already a perception that is there in terms of that there are elements in the Congress party that do not always talk in terms of India's interest. You see, this is something that is not doing the Congress any, it's not helping the Congress. You see, if you go and talk to people in general, except for people who are totally against the BJP and Prime Minister Modi and all, there is a question mark that has come on Congress because of their several leaders, strange statements they have been giving. Because of certain sections they were seen to be protecting at the time of, in the 10 years that they were in power, that it is being seen that, Mr. Manmohan Singh was not being allowed to function. Say, for example, things like, it is well known that Manmohan Singh's government was not given the permission to build infrastructure along the LAC. Apparently because certain environmentalists thought it is going to be bad for the environment and all. So, all these interventions had happened during Manmohan Singh's government's time, and the Congress also, with the kind of people, with some of their leaders, with the kind of people they have been hobnobbing with and all. So, unnecessarily they have put them on the crosshairs of the BJP. It was not needed. Now, this was an example, this was an opportune time. They should have asked Mr. Digvijaya Singh to stay shut completely. And let's not forget, after 2016, even Rahul Gandhi was asking for proof at one point of time. So, he may have done a U-turn knowing, he may have had a change of heart or something like that. But the fact of the matter is that the Congress is basically axing itself on its own foot right now, if you ask me.
Okay, Syed Asad Abbas, do you also believe that the Congress is, as Ikram Sandhu wants to, highlight, that the Congress has in fact done enough, given this sort of a statement that has been made by Digvijaya Singh? Do you support that?
Well, I truly believe that Digvijay Singh has spoken for himself. As a matter of fact, he looks like he's more playing on the side of the BJP. What is Digvijay even speaking? The fact of the matter, we need to understand that Digvijay Singh time and again makes such statements. Not just that, even previously, if we see, he made a very obnoxious statement that women who wear jeans and t-shirt, forward-thinking women apparently vote for Rahul Gandhi. Such a misogynist statement to make. Not just that, even calling out for saffron terrorism, blaming the 2611 attacks towards the RSS, and so on and so forth. This has become quite a regular habit of the Mr. Digvijay Singh, which actually plays well for BJP because this dents the Congress. Also, as a matter of fact, we need to understand that it's good that Mr. Rahul Gandhi came out in the Bharat Jodo Yatra press conference and categorically stated that this is not his views; these are outlying views, and these are views of Mr. Digvijay Singh. Also, as a matter of fact, we need to understand that the BJP also cannot be let loose. It was the BJP who rubbished all claims of Lieutenant General D.S. Hooda, who stated that even before 2014, there were many such surgical strikes which took place, post-border operations that took place. So is that okay? Absolutely no. If we blame the Congress for asking for proof, we need to blame the BJP too for not just asking for proof, but rubbishing all claims of General D.S. Hooda, where even during UPA's rule, there were many such surgical strikes. So therefore, we need to understand that the war between the BJP and Congress has been going on for front. I truly believe as an Indian that when it comes to national security, when it comes to the national interest, be it the Congress, BJP or any party, needs to be sacrosanct in their stand, united in the stand, no matter what. We might have our ideological differences, but when it comes to the army, when it comes to the armed forces, the Indian forces, we must and should speak in one voice because this is our motherland and these are the same war heroes who are protecting us and saving us from the outside militia. So therefore, I think the way ahead for any of these respective parties is to be united when it comes to national security. Also,
Okay.
as a matter of
All right.
fact, this just 30 seconds and I conclude. Also, as a matter of fact, we need to understand that there must be reprimanded actions which need to take place against leaders like Digvijay Singh. I think he should not be allowed to make such statements. Not just Digvijay Singh, but even the leaders on the other side, from the BJP too, be it a Sadhvi Pragya or a Giriraj Singh and so on and so forth. Only because of these leaders, they bring about a bad name to the party. So more than playing for the party, they turn out to be playing for the opposite party. It's something like we call hit wicket in cricket. So Digvijay Singh is nothing but a hit wicket right now for the Congress party, cutting out the sorry figure. And of course, it is very embarrassing. So therefore, Rahul Gandhi's wise decision would be Congress Jodo with the right kind of leaders and pick and remove leaders who
Okay.
do not adhere to the party lines and make such
Exactly.
embarrassing
So
statements.
that's Sumit Peer. Then my question to you is, because the first thing that anyone would think is that why is Digvijay Singh even being allowed to make such statements at the Bharat Jodo Yatra, which is the Congress's big effort before the 2024 elections. You know, this is the Congress party trying to make a big comeback at such a rally. And when you're talking about Bharat Jodo, you're allowing leaders like Digvijay Singh the time and space and the platform to make statements about a 2016 surgical strike, which in the past also several opposition parties have tried to raise questions against, and it's not worked well. It's not worked in their favor. So what lessons are they really learning, and why are people like Digvijay Singh so significant then to the Congress?
Devgaji, thank you very much for having me on your show. In fact, what Congress is doing is what we call in English running with the hare and hunting with the hounds. Good cop, bad cop. That is exactly what is done. You know, whenever you have an electrical problem in your house, you call an electrician, and an electrician carries a small screwdriver in his pocket, which is called a tester. Now, with the tester, he touches here and there and checks is there a current leakage. Mr. Digvijay Singh is the tester of Congress party. Whenever they have to straw a controversy, whenever they have to challenge the things, they use Mr. Digvijay Singh. Let him make a statement, then see how does the statement go. If it resonates well, if you are getting the traction on it, like Chokidar Shore hai, like, you know, all the kind of things which is in, now then they will back him. If it goes back, they'll say, okay, sorry, it's wrong. He did it. We don't know. How is a habitual offender like Mr. Digvijaya Singh always in Congress? Why is a part of every Congress committee? Why is he such a star leader? Why does he share stage with Rahul Gandhi ji? What has Congress done so far with this habitual offender who has been offending again and again and again? But the problem remains he's not a habitual offender. He is exactly doing what the High Command expects him to do. He is the scapegoat. When the things go wrong, put it on him, walk it out, say it's his personal comments and walk it out. Question is, has he apologized in public? No. Has Mr. Digvijaya Singh apologized? No. Was Digvijaya Singh on the podium when Rahul Gandhi apologized? No. Now, if I go slightly back, Mr. Rahul Gandhi said after surgical strikes, Khoon ki dalali. Now, did Khoon ki dalali also came from Digvijaya Singh? No. It was Rahul Gandhi. Then Mr. Rahul Gandhi asked for proofs of surgical strike. Yes, he did. So this Khoon ki dalali, Maut ka Saudagar, Shumb Nishum, Basmasur, they again came from Rahul Gandhi ji. The problem with the Congresses and Modi Virod, they forget when are they crossing the line. They cannot oppose the army of the country. They cannot question the surgical strikes. If you are questioning the surgical strikes, you are towing the language of Pakistan and China. Very recently, Mr. Rahul Gandhi ji said 20,000 square kilometers of land is lost to China. And there was one Congress spokesperson, I don't remember the name on your show. I told him, can you give the latitude and longitude? If 20,000 kilometers means 1/3 of Aksai Chin, then there must be a latitude and longitude of that. Give it to that. Have a press conference, do that. You know, these people try these things. And if and when they backfire, then they try to run away saying, we have not done anything. Why is Mr. Digvijaya Singh so indispensable? Why don't you suspend him? You don't want to terminate him? Suspend him from 6 years. Nupur Sharma said 1 or 2 lines which we don't support and we condemn. Now she was suspended. The action was immediately taken. Now why this suspension is not happening? Why public apology is not happening? Why termination is not happening? So when you are asking for, and it is not the first time, you can say, Galti ho gayi, it was the first time. Time and again, because there's a cohesion. The cohesion is Mr. the Gandhi Parivar and the Digvijaya Singh. Bhai, tum ye bolo, and we'll see how do the things turn, and based on that, we'll align your things. Now, what is the relevance of Zahir ki Khoon ki dalali? Didn't Mr. Rahul Gandhi say Khoon ki dalali? Will he apologize for Khoon ki dalali? Will he apologize for himself? Forget Digvijaya Singh, sir, I did a mistake that time, questioning the surgical strikes, and I take back my word of Khoon ki dalali. He will not take that. He will stand to that. And now he's saying, oh, I had this conditional apology, Pulwama, we did RDX and all that. These are not the things. You are questioning the valor of Indian army. You are questioning the surgical strikes. Questioning the surgical strikes means you are with Pakistan. Then the Pakistan ISPR and your Digvijay Singh ji ki strategy to same hai. That is the strategy of Rahul Gandhi. And what took you 24, 48 hours? Okay. You are on the you could have done it next second. Why it's such a delay?
All right. Okay, so Ikram Sandhu, you've been hearing everyone patiently. Now, of course, these are all, as we like to say, personal views of the panelists as well, as they were the personal views of Digvijaya Singh. But does the Congress party realize that whether it likes it or not, a perception is created and it actually backfires all of your attempts, all the goodwill that you might have been collecting over the past few months through the Bharat Jodo Yatra, it actually backfires. And therefore, people ask the question, why has no action, any sort of action been taken against a leader like Digvijaya Singh?
Devika, if we have to take action, then the action should be across the board. Mr. Digvijaya Singh said something, categorically the party has condemned it. I want BJP today to condemn Mr. Modi, who in 2013, 9 years ago, had said that Bharat ki Sena bahut kamzor hai. Has anybody in BJP castigated him for that? The then prime ministerial candidate for saying that Hindustan ki fauj bahut kamzor hai in 2013 campaign, it is documented. Has any action been taken against all those leaders of BJP who said that Lieutenant General D.S. Huda is speaking through his hat, that till the time in May 2014, Modi did not come to power, no cross-border action was ever taken by the Indian army? It was something which was not tom-tommed. It was something that was being of a strategic nature. Nothing was spoken about it. But from the Northeast, right up till Pakistan, these actions took up even before 2014. So if apologies are there, everybody should apologize. Let Mr. Modi apologize. Let the cabinet ministers who castigated...
But Ikram Sandhu, you have to understand that...
We will apologize for everything.
Of course, but why don't you then set the example? If you want everybody to apologize, why doesn't the Congress party begin by setting a positive example? If we get into this whataboutery, then there are political parties and politicians across the board, as you mentioned. But until and unless the Congress party does something themselves, how can you expect others to follow suit?
I know, high moral standards are not for the BJP, that is for the Congress, and we are proud of that. And therefore, we stand with them. that we have a moral fiber. We stand by our army. The army is not BJP's army, it is Indian army.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So no questions are raised on the operations and on what the operation actually led to. What we always question is the mentality of the current government, which is just using Indian army and its
Sandhu, if you ask for proof,
political gains.
If you ask for proof, then you're questioning the army only, no? You're not questioning the BJP. Then
Asking for proof. Come on.
You're saying give proof that the surgical strikes happened.
No.
The Congress party. The Congress party.
Yes. No. If one person in the Congress has said that the whole sallow doesn't make a summer.
So everybody is asking why hasn't any punitive action been taken against Digvijaya Singh? That's a simple question that everyone's asking.
Whatever punitive action is taken against Mr. Narendra Modi for calling Bharat ki Sena kamzor hai for 2013, 100 times more action will be taken against Digvijaya Singh. You are the ruling party.
Okay.
Take action against PM Modi. Whatever action you take against him, we will take 100 times more action.
As we wind up this conversation, Joyita Basu, is the Congress party somewhere not realizing, as I mentioned, that these sort of little statements that are made by some politicians or some leaders, they actually do set back the Congress and its efforts over the past many months, and they need to be way more proactive rather than getting into this whataboutery, because people perhaps expect something fresh coming out of the Congress party or something fresh coming out of politics in India, where a political party can actually stand up and say that yes, our leader was wrong and this is the action that we're taking against them. We don't support their statement at all.
Well, the thing is that if the Congress had to take action against all the stuff that Digvijaya Singh has been saying over the years, I mean, I think it would have taken action long back. But the whole question is, you see, is again, I'm going to say it's a matter of perception. The problem is, you see, people are not expecting something new to come out of the Congress party. They are expecting that this is what exactly the Congress party is going to say, and that is what Digvijaya Singh is saying. So the whole point is that it is time, I mean, people started thinking that perhaps their messaging has gone wrong somewhere. If they, at the same time, people like Digvijaya Singh, they kind of help entrench that message. People start thinking, oh, but that's how they are, you know, they cannot be trusted. I mean, it is frankly doing the Congress a lot of harm, if you ask me.
All right, on that note, we wrap up this conversation. I thank all of our panelists for joining us, and stay tuned to NewsX.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.